Hey there, all you networking fans. Okay, so I'm looking at Netacad Lab 7.3.4. This is the one where we're going to be connecting to a wireless router. And okay, so in the laboratory, we actually can connect PCs to, I've got like 3 or 4 wireless routers down there that we can play with. They're just, little generic deals. I think you can get them on Amazon for like $50. Anyway, for this particular laboratory, we don't really even need the wireless component. We're just going to be connecting PCA hardwire and PCB hardwire, and it doesn't matter which Ethernet ports you use. You can use any of the above. Basically, we're just using this thing as an Ethernet switch for this exercise. And so here's our instructions. Okay, connect the PCs using just straight through Ethernet connections. And we're going to name these things PCA, PCB, and we're going to change their IP addresses. Well, they're not going to have any IP addresses to start with, so we'll make one PC 192.168.10.2, and then the other one's going to be 168.10.1. Okay, and then we're going to give them subnet masks of just standard Class C 255, 255, 255.0. Same thing we do for most of the stuff that we've been up to. And let's see, and then we'll give it a next top gateway of. Let's see. Okay, dot 1 is going to be our gateway. Sorry, dot 1's our gateway, and our network addresses are going to be dot 2 and dot 3. Okay, sorry about that. I got ahead of myself there a little bit. Okay, so then we're going to do some stuff. We're going to check our host name, and see whatever Windows has assigned to us. Or if we're doing this in Packet Tracer, which I'm about to show you guys how to do, then our host name is probably going to be like PC0 or something like that. Okay, and then we're going to take a look at the route command and the getMAC command, which I think will work just fine. Packet Tracer, although I have not tried this yet. So I'll tell you what, give me a second and we'll get this show on the road. Let me just go ahead and move this window out of the way. I'm doing this all in one take and without a script, by the way, so please don't beat me up too badly if I make some mistakes along the way. Okay, well, according to our instructions, we're supposed to be coming up with with a wireless router. Okay, so where the heck's our wireless router? Okay, let's just grab this one. I think this, this one here will do fine for what we need. Okay, and then we're supposed to hook up a couple PCs. So down here at the bottom of Packet Tracer, and grab a couple of PCs. And our instructions are to rename these things. Okay, this one right now is called PC0. So let's click on that thing. And okay, so this is PC0. We're just going to go and change the display name of this thing to PCA. Let's see. Okay, we'll go in and do our IPv4 configuration stuff. Stop. Settings. Okay, now IP configuration. Going to click on that. We want to give this thing a static address. We're going to tell it its IP address is 192.168.10.2, I believe. Yeah, 10.2, according to our instructions. And then the subnet mask, okay, that's just going to auto-populate. And then our default gateway is going to be 192.168.10.1. Outstanding. Okay, so we're just going to close this out. Command prompt. And now I'm going to ping myself. 192.168.10.1. I'm trying to, oh shoot, that's not the right thing. I was 10.2. Out of that. See if I can ping myself. Maybe not. Oh, okay, I know what the problem is. Alright, I need some network cables. Okay, this dang wireless router and PCA are not connected at all, are they? Okay, so I'm going to grab a straight through cable, and I'm going to connect my fast Ethernet port, and I'll just connect to Ethernet 1 up here. And then let's go ahead and do the same thing to this other PC. I haven't got it configured yet, but we'll go ahead and cable it up anyway. Okay, so now we've got wires at least. Okay, let's go into our wireless router. Okay, here goes our wireless router. We can just click on config, display name as wireless router. Okay, 192.168.0.1 is what it's defined. So we're going to make that little change. And then internet, I don't really care about. Wireless, we don't really care about that either. We'll just leave that alone. Let's go to the GUI, DH. Okay, so sure enough, my IP address has been changed as 192.168.10.1. And let's go ahead and disable the DHCP server so that that thing doesn't mess with us later. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close that out. All right, now we've got happy green lights here. So let's go into PC1. Okay, this guy is .1. This guy here has not been configured yet. And change this dude to PCB, I believe. Okay, so now this guy's going to be PCB. And default gateway, we'll go ahead and put that in 192.168.10.1. Okay, that's our gateway address. And we're not going to worry about IPv6 right now. Go to the desktop to IP configuration. Sure enough, we've got 10.1 as our default gateway. 192.168.10.3 subnet mask. Okay, the subnet masks for all three devices have to agree, otherwise their confusion will reign. They won't know which is the address of the host and which is the address of the network. Okay, so as long as we're here, let's just close this out and go to the command. Now we're supposed to ping 192.168.10.3. Okay. All right. So we can ping ourselves. That's good. .2. That's the other PC over there. That's PCA. And then our gateway is 10.1. Okay, cool. So everybody can see everybody else. Now then, let's go back and look at our instructions. What are we supposed to be doing next? Verify connectivity. We did that. Okay, now we're supposed to examine the host name. We're supposed to examine the host name and the MAC address on the PC. So, okay, see we use. So we can just use PCA. Okay, so let's click on PCA, go to the command prompt. Okay, type in hostname. Okay, it doesn't like that. Okay, so apparently this PC, this virtual PC that we're using on Packet Tracer, only has a limited command set. I'll bet it's got get MAC though. No, it doesn't. It does no IP config. Okay, and let's see, so we can do IP config /all. Okay, and that will tell us our MAC address. See right here where it says physical address 0040 0B96 yada yada yada. Okay, that is your MAC address on Fast Ethernet 0. So host name and get MAC don't work. Now what about route? Route command. Okay, route is an invalid command here. But if you've got a laptop or if you've got a laptop or a desktop, then you can issue the host name command, and that'll tell you your host name, which in our case is just going to be PCA. And then the other thing you can do is issue get MAC. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, let me show you this. What I'm going to do is just go down here, and on my computer, I'm just going to open up a command prompt. Okay, and this is on my office computer. Okay, and so now I can show you these commands. All right, host name is 810, yada, 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 who cares? If I was renaming this PC, I would name it like JL's Killer Machine or something like that. But this machine is owned by the school, so I have to use the host name that they provide. It has to do with our inventory. Okay, get MAC. Goes. Okay, so I've got several devices on this particular machine. I think there's actually a Bluetooth connection and a wireless connection and a wired connection. So a few different things here, but these are my MAC addresses. And then last but not least, route. This just tells you which routes your PC is aware of. And you'll notice over here, like 127.0.0.1, that is the local host. Every machine knows about that. Okay, and it looks like my gateway out is 8.3.254. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this just tells me, which of my network connectors are currently active, and this is the routing information that my PC knows about. And we're on just a small network branch here, and so there's only, I don't know how many PCs are on this particular network. There's not that many. But as you can see, I only have access to a couple of router ports, and so, yeah, that's just a one interface port, 10.8.2.75. Now, and I'm behind a firewall and a NAT, so, obviously this is like a private address, like we studied in class. But whenever my traffic goes out on the internet, then it gets encapsulated by the router. Our router that faces the internet will encapsulate my messages in something that can go out onto the internet in general. And then whenever the data comes back to me, it'll de-encapsulate it and then send it back through my router to my address, which happens to be right now, because I'm on a DHCP also. So right now my address is 10.8.2.75, and my gateway is the 10.8.3.254 that we were just looking at. So anyhoodle, yeah, that's how you can play with this stuff at home without actually having two PCs to wire together. And you can play around with this thing too, because, like, for example, you can take your wireless router, and it's actually kind of fun to play with because, and I'll let you guys do some experimentation on this thing. What you can do is take your wireless router and see here where it's got your internet connection. Okay, you can give this thing like a static internet connection and give it an IPv4 address of, say, for example, 192.168.20.1. Okay, and then you can connect PCB to that wireless router internet port, and you can pretend like PCB is the internet and PCA is your home computer, and then you can route in between those by, basically just hard coding your router and put the PCB on one network and PCA on the other. And the way you'll do that is by plugging this port into okay, so here we've got this thing set up. Now this, if you're going to plug this wire into the internet port, you got to remember to use a crossover cable because this wireless router does not have auto crossover. But if you use a crossover cable instead of a straight through cable, then it works just fine. And as you can see, I've got, let's see, PCB is now got an address of 192.168.20.3, and PCA has an address of .192.168.10.2. Okay, so PCA is on the .10 network, PCB is on the .20 network, but they can talk to each other just fine because they're going through this router. And the router is set up so that the internet interface is 192.168.20, so it's on the .20 network, and then the LAN interface is on the .10 network, so I'm .10.1 and .20.1. But since this happens to be a routing device, it allows me to do this. Bring up my command prompt. Okay, now this is my command prompt on PCA. Okay, and so now I can ping 192.168.10.1, because remember that's the port that's facing me on the router. Okay, and then PCB, we gave it a new address. We said, okay, you're going to be on the .20 network with an address of .20.3. There it is. Okay, it just took the router a second to figure out what was going on, and then the ping works. So, yeah, you can have fun playing around with this packet tracer and just trying some different things. And that way you don't have to mess up your hardware at home. All right, thanks very much. This has gone a little bit longer than I'd planned on, but I appreciate your attention, and have fun with routing, and I'll be talking to you later. All right, bye-bye.